So this is an interesting question. I like this one. This is from Chris. Because there's a number of ways one could approach this contemporarily. What are your thoughts on Planned Parenthood?
I don't like the fact that I just read today, I think, that Planned Parenthood is opposing 562 in California. What the fuck is up with that? I mean, the Planned Parenthood means Planned Parenthood. And sometimes there is an unplanned parenthood. And now Planned Parenthood says, we're not going to get involved with unplanning your unplanned parenthood. I don't get it.
Well, here's my take on that. And here's the thing. First of all, I'll be totally upfront. Planned Parenthood in our system now. Planned Parenthood serves an essential need. What they do is incredibly important. However, they exist the way they do because we have the healthcare system that we have. If we had a single payer system, Planned Parenthood would either need to adapt or they might not be in existence anymore. And I think they know that. And it seems like Planned Parenthood has made the choice to oppose single payer. And so that means that, I mean, don't you think? I mean, why else would they oppose it, right?
You need to explain to me how supporting 562 would harm what Planned Parenthood does.
Because Planned Parenthood exists partially because we have such a fucked up healthcare system that people can't get the basic care that they need. I mean, most of what Planned Parenthood does is health services for women and men too, and mostly prenatal care and mostly other types of care. Basic care. That's most of what they do. I mean, keep in mind, and I know you probably know this, Stephen, but abortion is less than 3% of what Planned Parenthood does. Planned Parenthood provides an essential service, and I realize that. I've done benefits for Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood has benefited the lives of many people I know, myself included. So, I'm not anti-Planned Parenthood. However, I recognize in the long term that, yeah, a single payer model could disrupt what Planned Parenthood does. I think they could adopt within it should they choose to, but it seems like they might choose not to. So I understand that the day could come where I'm not behind Planned Parenthood anymore because I see in the long term single payer is more important.
There's a disconnect for me. The connection between single payer or Medicare for all healthcare system and supporting the rights of a woman to control her own body. Where there's a disconnect. I'm not sure how one affects the other.
Well, no, I don't think one affects the other. I think in principle, those two things are very connected. I'm talking about just the mechanisms of Planned Parenthood itself as an organization to exist. In a single payer model, a lot of the services they provide, I mean, people might be able to get that through their insurance now under a single payer model. So could they adapt? I think yes, possibly. I think they could. However, I could also see how in their business model, they would choose to oppose it instead. Why else would they oppose 562?
That's right.
This isn't.
Let me ask you this. If Planned Parenthood announced tomorrow, we've changed our mind, we're going to support 562. Rendon, get it out of the shelf wherever you put it on. If they did that, how would life change at Planned Parenthood? What would change, if anything?
Well, in the short run, nothing.
Right.
In the short run, nothing. But in the long term, Stephen, I mean, if we get a single payer healthcare system in this country, I mean, that could make something like a Planned Parenthood kind of obsolete over time because people would be able to get the care that they get. Planned Parenthood largely exists because we have such a fucked up healthcare system that for many people, that's the only way they can get care that they need. That's the only way they can get gynecological care. That's the only way they can get prenatal care. That's the only way they can get screenings for STDs. That's the only way they can get, the list goes on. And yes, abortion services.
But Planned Parenthood could then still continue to exist and still provide the same services it provides now, except that it would then be a provider for the Medicare for All system instead of being a provider for the fucked up for-profit insurance companies.
I agree with you. What I'm saying is they may or may not make that choice. We don't know what the people in the top are deciding or not deciding. And they could very easily decide, well, you know what? Single payer sounds nice, but it would really disrupt our way of doing business. And we provide essential services. We'd rather kind of make incremental changes to our healthcare system, make the ACA stronger, quote unquote, whatever that means, because there's still millions being left out in the cold. We'd rather do that than support single payer. Will they make that choice? I don't know. But I'm open to the idea that they might, which also has to make me open to the fact that I might not be behind Planned Parenthood anymore at some point. Right now, if somebody just asked point blank, yes or no, do you support Planned Parenthood? I would say yes. However, if they gave me that asterisk moment, I would say yes. But in the long run, if they're opposing single payer, I'd have to say, you know, you're opposing single payer for your own benefit, and I support single payer.
Well, you know, if somebody asks me, do you support Planned Parenthood? My answer is yes, but I do not understand its opposition to 562, and I want someone to explain that to me, because
I mean, was my explanation wrong? Like, what was? I mean,
no,
that's the way I see it. You know.
I guess the only area that I disagree with you is that I don't think it would make that much difference to Planned Parenthood if it supported 562. Maybe I'm a little more cynical than you are. I think something else is going on. I don't know. And this discussion on Planned Parenthood gets back to the real core principle of why I'm for Medicare for all and why I want to get rid of for-profit insurance companies, because I think it is obscene, and that's a word I use a lot. It is obscene for private companies to make profits on the illness of other people. I find that to be grossly obscene. And insurance companies are paying out millions of dollars to these CEOs who have equally obscene salaries, to use my favorite word again. And that has to go. Nobody should profit from the illness and helping people who are ill or sick. So we'll leave it at there. I don't think we disagree. We may be articulating our points of view a little differently.
Well, I think right now we're just speculating on decisions that we don't know how they're going to be made. What I'm saying is I can understand why they would be against single payer. I mean, I disagree with it, obviously. Like, I disagree with it. But I can see why they would go against single payer, and it disappoints me. Lady Vajay points out, if you had Medicare for all, then a woman could, that is the screen name, then a woman could just go to the OBGYN and not have to worry about copays or anything like that. And that would be the end of Planned Parenthood. That is a factor. I mean, that assessment is correct.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. If we had single payer for all and a woman found that she has gotten pregnant, then her OBGYN doctor could say, I'm sending you for your prenatal care over here to Planned Parenthood, because they have a contract with Medicare to provide prenatal services, and I want you to go there for your prenatal services. Check in with there whenever they want you, and Planned Parenthood then becomes a provider in the Medicare for All network.
I understand that, and then that is another alternative. Forever Voting Third Party says they can be absorbed into hospitals. So I don't think anybody in this conversation is right or wrong. Right now, we're just speculating on what could or couldn't happen. However, if we see opposition to single payer from Planned Parenthood, I would say we do know why.
Okay.
All right. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, You get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.